Hi everyone, it's Jason with Earl of Fife Games, and I wanted to do a little chat just to talk about what's going on. It's been a little bit since I've done one of these, and I just thought maybe this is a good time to do one. Very busy right now, various things going on, lots of stuff with the games. So let's get started. So at the time of this recording, it's March 22nd, 2024, and we have a lot of things going on. The first thing is our fulfillment for Dungeons Deep and Caverns Old, which the digital version has already been fulfilled. Everybody who had pledged to that should have links to that PDF in their BackerKit accounts or emailed to them from BackerKit. So if you don't have that, there's going to be a link down in the description where you can grab that today from our website or DriveThruRPG if you prefer. Just know that regardless, it is fulfilled by DriveThruRPG. So if you get it from me, I'll make a little bit more money, and you'll still get the same exact thing. So uh, and yeah, so that setting and adventure is ready to go. As far as print goes, I do have a proof from one place, and you can see it here. This is it. Dungeons, Jeeps, and Caverns Old looks pretty good. This is just the proof, so um, you can see some of the things here. This is from Amazon, actually, Amazon Print, and then I'm getting one from Mixam as well, and we're going to see how different they look. And I do probably believe that people in the EU and the UK will be fulfilled from Amazon, and everyone else could be, or they could be fulfilled by Mixam. It just depends. Amazon has some very strange requirements for print, which can cause just a slow process and just kind of a weird thing. Like for instance, this proof right here that I've gotten, it looks great actually. You can see the spine. Now the spine is pretty small. This is a quarter of an inch, not even quite, 0.24 of an inch. So it's real small. But they believe that my text is too big, for instance, for me to actually get the real McCoy. They want to take almost half of that for a quiet area on the spine, which makes this be pretty small. And it really pretty much eliminates any graphics I would have on here. The Earl of Fife logo and the Heroes and Hardships logo are going to have to completely go away. But it looks fine in this, but they don't like that, right? So here's the back cover. It's upside down. So Dwarven campaign setting. This is a barcode that I have no control over. This is the name of the adventure inside. You see, it's kind of a black and white picture of what's on the front. We kind of tried something new with this one, and so yeah. So this is the Amazon. It's really nice. Otherwise, so we'll see what happens with the actual spine. So the reason why I probably will fulfill UK and EU with that is because I'm not doing, well, I would rather not do multiple print jobs in different locations with if it's Mix'em, because that would just cost me a lot more money. I could do a print job in the United States and then ship those books to the UK, but that also cost me extra money to ship all the way from there. So, but if I get it printed in Amazon UK, I can just get it right to my fulfillment center. So there might be just very slight differences in the two books. It just depends. We'll see what how Amazon comes out and what it actually looks like. That if it looked like that, I would be happy to do Amazon for both. But we'll just see that Mixum print is going to get here soon. That proof. So I'll know more then. So yeah, and a non. So moving on, I think that will probably get shipped to everyone I would say at the latest May. So I expect it will be quicker than that because once in April, once I'm able to see all these proofs and get an idea, I won't have any more work to do besides just make the order. Okay, and then talk to my fulfillment people, which it's already all set up. I just need to do a couple of things like get them the actual backer lists and stuff and format that in the correct way. Um, that'll all go out, and I've collected shipping already, and that should be out soon. Um, what else? So I am going to do a non-Heroes and Hardships version of Dungeons, Jeeps, and Cavern World, the 5e version. I'll put the link for that in here as well if you're more of a 5e interested person. I have a expert in 5e doing that. And I wouldn't even say it's a conversion really. It's more just kind of a reimagining of the Heroes and Hardships rules in Dungeons, Deeps, and Caverns Old for 5e. So there's still going to be a corruption system. There's going to be backgrounds, sub races, subclasses, feats, monsters, all that sort of stuff for 5e. They're going to do that. And so it's not going to be like, oh, this necessarily this ability in H&H, how does it convert to 5e? Not necessarily, because like the corruption subsystem in Dungeons Deep and Caverns Old, I don't see how you could do one to one from that to 5e. Just the systems work too differently for that to be one to one kind of conversion. So that is going to come out. It's up on. There's a pre-launch for that campaign. It probably will launch. I'm hoping by about May. Launch that campaign, and it won't take very long to fulfill that either because primarily everything's written except the 5e bits, which will be they'll start working on that in about a week from now. So and then when that's done, I'll lay it out and convert the adventure part to be more 5e like, and and printing will be the same as it is now. So I don't think that'll take long to fulfill, and I don't think it'll take a lot of my time, thankfully. And we'll have that behind us, and hopefully 5e fans will find that good and usable for their games if you want to play a dwarf or have some sort of dwarf setting. After that, I've announced our next Heroes and Hardships setting, an adventure called Star Theocracy. Star Theocracy is a science fiction space opera type game with influences from Star Wars to Battlestar Galactica, a little bit of 40K probably, Dune, and so on and so forth. It's kind of I think there's some interesting things there, and I have someone already ready to write the adventure portion of that. Right now, I'm writing everything else. It will have new Heroes and Hardships rules. It'll have the adventure, the setting, very similar to Dungeons Even Caverns Old. We'll see the size. It's not destined to be some specific size yet. It'll come to Kickstarter probably sometime after the 5e stuff. I would say probably June, July seems feasible for that one. And hopefully we'll have more of the writing and editing done before it completes, I believe. Um, and I think that I'll be able to turn that one around a little bit faster, even from Dungeons, Deeps, and Caverns Old, which was probably 5 months or so. And then after that, we'll see. I don't have any plans yet. I have ideas of things. We could do Abandoned All Hope Second Edition, but that's another sci-fi, sci-horror game. I do have one that is tentatively called Gods and Men, which is essentially that superheroes of some sort find themselves in not a medieval world. So it's like, in typical superhero games and superhero settings, you have superheroes in modern day or near future, and how do they stack up to the normal people there, right? Well, this is even different because you just like, okay, you stick them into medieval kind of thing, and it's not necessarily fantasy. There's not necessarily anything else besides these superheroes and these people. And so the idea is that you have a power level 1 game, but you have the opportunity for players to play PL3 characters. And so all their difficulties are going to be lower. Like, right, they're challenging is TN20. They're going to or I'm sorry, TN15, and they're going to crush that usually with any roll they do. So everything's going to be super easy, unless they're like going against each other. And so you have these people that are like embodied the like living gods on this place. I don't know if it would be Earth or this is just kind of stuff that's ruminating in my head, but and so you have that, and that's an idea because I wanted to kind of do fantasy, sci-fi, and then supers, and then kind of we'll figure out what's else from there. So at some point, we're going to start doing bigger stuff. I'm trying to expand Heroes and Hardships a little bit before I start getting into the big setting books, which would be like Stormbolter, which you've probably heard me talk about before, which is Roman space fantasy. Another game that I'm tentatively calling The Last Empress, which is a feudal samurai kind of setting. And a couple other things. It's kind of funny. I get, there's a mech, a mech warrior kind of setting. I get kind of these ideas, and it's like, well, do I want to make it big right off the bat, or do I want to kind of expand on it, later on? And that's just kind of, it's how much money am I going to be able to invest in it, right at the beginning. Uh, that sort of thing. I think there's lots of things we can do with this system, and being able to come out with all these settings and then add-ons for these settings. I'm really kind of excited for having like a dozen settings, and expanding for each of those. And so I'm excited for that, and we'll see what those are that come, right? Otherwise, I have some, I'll continue to have smaller releases throughout the year. Um, there's a couple that I have lined up. One that's very close to being done. Um, it was an adventure written by J.V.C. Perry, if you know him. He is a big 5e writer, and he let me convert one of his adventures to Heroes and Hardships. It's called The Folk of Herrenthorpe, and it's kind of a horror, fantasy horror, kind of thing. So that should be out in the next month or so. The next is Rise of the Orc, which is a bestiary and ancestry supplement. So you're going to get new abilities, new ancestry traits, new ancestries, two different types of orcs, kind of like a city orc and like a tribal orc. And so trying to give people as much possibility of what they want to use as they can for the orcs. And then probably at least, I haven't created them all yet, but at least a half a dozen to a dozen orc types for your campaigns for adversaries too. After that, I don't know off the top of my head what the smaller things will be. I would like to sneak in another adventure or some sort of supplement for Dungeon Deeps and Caverns Old at some point, just to kind of expand that, as I've said I'm going to. So we'll see what that's going to be. I don't really know yet, but yeah, I'm feeling pretty good about our future and what we're going to do next. It's just getting the time to do it and doing the right thing and what people want to see. And I feel I'm getting this process down of Kickstarter, Kickstarter fulfillment, and so hopefully we can expand those, get bigger, give you more stuff in those Kickstarters, and do a little better. And Dungeons Deep and Cavern Old was definitely a test to see kind of what that would look like. With a more simplistic campaign and kind of expand the game, and I think we did expand the game because I'm selling core rule books to people too that haven't played Heroes and Hardships, so that's good. And so hopefully each one of these builds the game a little bit more, a little bit more, a little bit more, and so when we're ready to do the big things, we can do that. And eventually, I want to do just kind of system things too, a huge magic thing. So this would have new magic rules, new spells, new manifestations, and how to build your own spells would be something I would put in there. But right now, I don't think those can go on Kickstarter and be real successful because we need a bigger, fan base of Heroes and Hardships itself. So right now, those type of things like bestiaries and system supplements have to be either smaller or just wait. But yeah. So if you're interested in Heroes and Hardships and you don't know what this game is, link below will be something about Heroes and Hardships that you can look at. And yeah, it's a good system, I think, and it has a lot for everyone. We've had reviews on channels that pretty much say the same thing, and I think everybody comes to the system a little different, view. Like some may think it's a little crunchier, some people might think it's, hyper deadly, that sort of thing. But it just depends on what your, what your tolerance is for those sort of things, right? I don't think it's particularly crunchy based on, compared to some other things that are pretty popular, in my opinion. But yeah, and we're continually trying to improve the game. And yeah, right now we're just continue to do new releases and hopefully things that people are interested in and get them playing it. Also, probably one of the last things here is I do have a resident GM program. Our resident GM is Brian, and he runs at least one game a month on the Earl of Fife Discord channel. You do not have to have Heroes and Hardships to play. I would suggest grabbing the Quick Start Guide so you have some idea, and just talking to us on our Discord and getting in the game and playing and see maybe if the game is for you. So we do at least one of those a month, and yeah, he ran his first one in that capacity a few days ago. Went great. So yeah, swing on by to our Discord and check it out. So I do appreciate you watching this, and I'm gonna try to do a little, more of these and do a little better, at keeping everybody informed in a video format. It's hard when you're busy and trying to, do all the things that I'm doing in addition to, non Earl of Fife games stuff. So I do hope that you're enjoying the game, and if you don't, know much about the game, please, you can find us on Discord and fifegames.com and so on and so forth. And I do appreciate your time in watching this, and thanks again.